Hey guys, welcome back to this new channel which is Ed Couch, and this is my third session, and I'm so happy to know that everyone likes my channel. So this motivates me a lot. So if you really like, then subscribe to this channel for the next content, and it will directly give you a direct notification once I upload any of the videos. So let's talk about testing. So in this session, we will cover test case creation and scenario creation. So the major confusion happens, to the new beginners that, interviewer asks them, what is the difference between the scenario and test case creation? So sometimes they get confused and they tell the similar thing for test case scenario, which they know for test case creation. I try to eliminate the confusion here. So, okay, in a very easy way, if I explain you, okay, let me give an example. Okay, you want to test a bank login page. Okay, that is the easiest example. When you want to test the login page of maybe ICICI Bank, so what is a test case here and what is the scenario here? Test case scenario is something, it's a high level design that what are the function you want to cover for that particular page, for that particular test. And test case is something like, from that particular scenario you are creating step by step process how to test that particular scenario. Okay, don't get confused. The example here is, in the bank login page, maybe your scenario is something like forget id password check. Okay, that is your high level scenario, that forget id or password change. Then your test case will be like how you are checking that page. Maybe you are giving a password or maybe you are giving a user id which is wrong. That is a negative test. Okay, we will talk about what is a negative test and what is a positive test. So before that, just clear with this test case and scenario. So your scenario is forget a user id and password. Your test case will be like how you are checking that. Like you are giving a wrong user id or password, then it's throwing you error. Maybe that you will get another link called forget user id or password. You click on that link and you go there, and what is reflected in that particular link, how you are retrieving your user id or maybe your password. So all those detail you are putting it in step by step, which is called your test case creation. But your scenario is a very high level, which is forget user id password check. So now you understood, right? Okay, let's jump into the test case creation and what is a test case scenario.
So here is the detail, guys. Today's topic: test cases and test scenario. So my first focus is on test case actually. So it's a set of action, performed on a system to determine if it satisfied whatever requirement you have received and it is as expected, meaning it's functioned correctly or not, and also to determine the different feature within a system whether they are performing as expected or not. So these two are the basic goal of a test case actually, why we define a test case. And typically the test cases are created by the QA members, and it include few components like test steps, test data, preconditions, prerequisite that verify all the requirements. So let's talk about the benefit of the test cases. As you can see my screen, these are the benefit. Apart from that, there are a lot of benefit of a good test case creation, but the major benefits are like the test coverage. Okay, it's really great, and it reduces the maintenance of the software cost. I mean, like later when you support a software, that maintenance is really low. And once you create one test case manually, that can be reused in later stage. How many times you want, if there is any similar project or maybe some regression suit or something like that. And the next benefit is to satisfy customer requirement and improved quality of software and user experience. Meaning really a good test case can improve the quality of a software. If your quality increases, your user experience also really will be amazing. And higher quality product lead to more satisfied customer, meaning if your customer really satisfied, then they can be retained for a long time, you know. So these are the major benefit of a test case creation, and a good test case creation, good test case coverage actually. Yeah, let's talk about the component of a test cases. The major component are like test case name and ID, test case description, or objective of that particular test case, prerequisite or precondition, meaning to perform that particular test whether it required any setup or precondition. Then your actual test steps and expected result, meaning what is the step description and how you are performing, and what is the output, what must be the output as per your user requirement. So when you create all the test cases, you should review and validate, because that will ensure that your coverage is accurate, complete, and relevant to the requirement. So guys, here I have described in a very high level. If you want another session on how you write a test case, what are the component, and how you use them with examples and everything, then you comment below so that I can come up with a separate session for that, because that itself will take 1 or 2 sessions. I don't want to club that here. Yeah. Okay, now let's jump into test scenario. A test scenario is a specific set of condition, like how you are going to create your test case, or how that particular application will be tested. So that is called your test scenario. This a user or tester will take in order to verify that the software behave correctly and produces the expected output. So before you create a test case, your test scenarios must be created, like how you write your test scenario. As I said previously, it's like a high level steps, high level scenario, like how you're gonna test that particular application. Even before you create your test cases, you must create your scenarios. Yeah. So I'll give an example. Like, let's say you're testing a feature of a web application. Then your test scenario might be, valid login. Your precondition may be user has a valid username and password. Your steps must be open the login page, enter the valid username and password, click on the login button, and then expected result will be users should be redirected to the dashboard page. In this scenario, the precondition is like user has a valid username and password. Only then you can able to enter that in your web application. So the steps describe the action that the tester will take to verify that the login functionality works fine. So the expected result is that the user should be redirected to the dashboard page. So this is how you should write your scenario and test cases. So the benefit of the test scenario is like, it will help to ensure that all the possible use cases and functionalities of the software are tested thoroughly, because they provide a structured approach to testing, which makes it easier to identify defects and ensure the quality of the software application. Meaning, if you are very clear about your requirement, then and you create your scenarios nice and crisp, it will really help you more coverage on your use cases or requirement, and how you are gonna create your test cases. So if your scenarios are clear and approved, your test cases should not take much time actually.
Okay, so as we know now, test case scenario is a high level aspect of, understanding your requirement, that how you are going to perform that particular action, and you are just, putting that in your notes, that these are the high level scenario, these are the high level, process which I want to perform for that particular application, meaning understanding your requirement even before you start writing your test cases. And then you are creating your test cases, meaning you are designing or documenting a set of conditions like I will do first this, then this, then this. So these are your test case creation. From the scenario, you get a very good information how you are going to write your test cases further. So don't get confused next time the interviewer asks you what is the difference between these two.
So the major difference between the test case and the test scenario, because most of the people they fail when the interviewer asks this question. So there are a lot of differences actually, but the major one I just put it here, like test case is a collection of action that are carried out to check certain feature or functionality, where a test scenario is like any capability that may be evaluated. These scenarios are derived from the artifact like BRD, FRD, requirement documents, where the test cases are derived from the test scenario. As I said, first you need to create your scenario. From the scenario, you need to derive your test cases. The third one is like test cases is the thorough testing of an application, where the test scenarios is like testing end-to-end functionality, in a more agile manner. We will talk about agile later. The fourth one is test cases are more concerned with what to test and how to test, where the test scenarios are more concerned on only what to test. How to test will be defined in your steps while creating your test cases in a detailed manner. Test scenarios are like a high level, where the test cases are like these activities are low level. So high level meaning you just create your scenarios like how you want to test your application. Test cases will be low level. From the scenario you need to derive step by step method how you're gonna achieve that. Test cases include test procedures, data, and anticipated outcomes, whereas the test scenario contain end-to-end functionality to be evaluated. That's all. So, as I said in my previous session, I will take it slowly. I want everyone to understand in a very easy way. So I don't want to put so much of information in one session because it will be really hectic for you. Sorry, you really want me to cover that particular session, that particular thing, then you can just comment below. I will cover it in my upcoming session.
So since we already know what is test case and what is the scenario, these two are very important aspect of software testing. While they are related, they have a huge difference. A test case is a detailed information where you are putting step-by-step method how action to be performed. It involves an input action and the output aspect of that particular application. On the other hand, the test scenario is a broader aspect of a particular test which can accommodate multiple test cases. It describes a particular, condition or a circumstances which should be performed that involves a series of related test cases inside it. In a easiest term or in a other way, test case scenario is a very high level description of a test set, while the test case is a very low level aspect or a very low level description of that particular test set. So with this, we are ending this session. I hope you like it and I hope I made a little easy for you. If yes, then kindly subscribe to this channel. Let's make it big. And I will come with the next topic in my next session. And if you really want to cover something, comment below. I will try to cover that topic in my coming sessions. So till then, explore a new skill.